Good evening. It is 6:30, contrary to the clock in the back. And welcome to the May 13th regular meeting of the Willits City Council. And we are going to start by pledge allegiance to the flag of our country by longtime City of Willits employee Dan Curtis. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Okay. Councilmember Burton,
I am here.
Gonzalez,
Present.
Stransky, Alanese,
Here.
and Alden.
Here. The City Council welcomes input from the audience. If there's a matter of business on the agenda that you are interested in, you may address the council when this matter is considered. If you wish to speak on a matter that is not on the agenda, you may do so at this time. In order for everyone to be heard, please limit your comments to 3 minutes per person. The Brown Act regulations do not allow action to be taken on audience comments in which the subject is not listed on the agenda, but if there is an agendized item that you have a time schedule and you need to leave early, you're certainly going to be welcome to talk now. So is there anybody who would like to speak of any item that's not on the agenda? Yes, ma'am, you had your hand up first. You had your hand up first, yep. Welcome.
Good evening, gentlemen of the City Council, all of you men. My name is Barbara Plaza, and I want to bring to your attention about a serious identity refusal problem going on in our community, and to make you aware of it, and to ask you, Mayor Tom Allman and Bruce Burton, to help me in getting my identity documents back. I own the property at 143 Franklin Avenue in Willits. You all know this man, John McKee. I asked John McKee if he would refinance my loan. He never responded to my message, but instead he bought my loan note, foreclosed on me, and evicted me. Now I'm homeless. And he lives at 601 Locust Lane behind a locked gate on 100 acres with a military shooting range. John McKee gave me permission to get all my property from the 40-foot shipping container. John McKee met the man who owns the 40-foot shipping container when the sheriff was at 143 Franklin Avenue, and Bruce Burton said he would help me to move it. My lock was cut off by John, and he put on his own lock. He's now refusing me access to my Social Security documents, legal court documents, medical records, California commercial driver's license, my Cherokee Nation documents with roll numbers, and all these documents hold my identity. I only want my identity documents and property and the 40-foot shipping container. I would appreciate it, Mayor Tom Allman and Bruce Burton, to meet with me, because this affects our community on the identity being refused to me as the person's identity being refused. My phone number is 707-841-0421, and I thank you, man, very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Is there anybody else who would like to speak of any item that's not on the agenda? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Danielle Berry. I am with Willits Frontier Days. I am the 2022 Past Sweetheart. There is 9 of us this year selling tickets. We are all past sweethearts. So I'm just coming forward to say I am selling tickets, and so are the other girls. Our first event of the year is the 20th, which is the Ned Ledoux concert. And then I also came up here because we just had our 100th year of coins made. And I believe 50 already sold, and there's only 100. So if you want one, get a hold of Marcy Berry at 707-272-5395. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dusty Whitney will probably buy them all.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
My name is Dennis Miller. I'm a resident of Fort Bragg, and I've come to talk about a $98 million bond that is on our ballot. June 2nd, and I have some statistics that's verifiable. I've given the mayor a copy of a spreadsheet from the Fort Bragg Unified School District, and also the information, a flow chart that was supplied to me by the State of California Department of Treasury. So everything that I'm talking about is not a fabrication. I'm only talking about the facts. And what in particular I want to talk about is how much bonds cost. And for our little school district, the Fort Bragg Unified School District, I'm going to cite some numbers that your mayor has in his possession. And I'm going to cite some numbers that talks about in our small Fort Bragg Unified School District, we had 3 outstanding bonds starting in 2003. And I'm going to say a number, and everybody should gasp, particularly when you know that there's only 7,000 of us over in Fort Bragg that are taxpayers. We have paid in interest alone $93 million in interest. And I'm bringing that to everybody's attention because all of our elected officials, including the city attorney, I'm sure he could verify this, that there's not a lot of education about how much bonds actually cost. And to me, it's unbelievable, particularly now when I look at those numbers of $93 million on 3 bonds that are not paid off, will not be paid off, and some of them until 2053. It's astounding, particularly when you start to think what we could have done with that money in terms of teacher salaries or budget like we do in our own household. We save money, so I'm going to give you a real-life example of where I used to live. And I used to live in a place called the Fall River Valley, which is 86 miles east of Reading. I don't know if I don't see a 3-minute clock up here, so you going to ding me? Uh-oh.
Pretty quick.
All right, so I'm going to give you a real-life, true example in a valley that's comprised of 3 counties, Modoc, Lassen, and Shasta County. Any of you who are golfers have been to the Fall River Valley. You've played at the golf course. There's a brand-new hospital there. I see you shaking your head. Right on.
Fish there.
So, fish there, too. Exactly. One of the greatest Calaveras centuries. 3 minutes? Okay, anyway, what we did was we passed, it took time, took education, but what we did was we did an assessment with a sunset clause. There's my dinger. For more information, I'm sorry I got off on a tangent, but for more information, there's an article that I wrote that's been published in the ADJOURNMENT.com. You can read about it. It's a real life scenario. The people that I've named in there are friends of mine. It's an alternative way of looking, of raising money in a more structured way where we save money and then you spend it. You save money and spend it. And that's what we did. That's a real life example.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thanks for coming over Hill tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, our museum director would like to speak.
Good evening, Karen Matson, Mendocino County Museum Director. I'm here to invite you all, the community and the council, to our new exhibit opening at the museum. It's opening this Friday from 5 to 7. The exhibit is called Road Trip, Discover Mendocino County by way of the famous Redwood Highway. Our museum is the repository for the Redwood Empire Association documents, and this organization united 9 counties from San Francisco to Josephine, Oregon, with an ambitious marketing plan and effort to construct the Redwood Highway. And we have an awesome exhibit out showcasing not only those archives, but collections that the community has donated. And one of the notable stops on the Redwood Highway was created by Willits, and that was the Frontier Days. Frontier Days was such a big deal that it became a stop and a great part of this marketing campaign. And so we have an expanded section celebrating the 100th anniversary of Frontier Days. And I would like everyone to come see this exhibit. And I'd like to make the note that this is the community's tool, all of Mendocino County's tool. When people come in our guest book from out of town, they are really impressed and really enjoy their time. So I would love for everyone to come, find something to say about it and tell someone else to come. Because when people get to the museum, that means they've gotten to a lot of other wonderful places. And we have a great group of volunteers in the Friends of the Mendocino County Museum that stay at the front all day and tell everybody where they should go next. So please use this as a tool, and I'd love to see you all there.
Admission is free.
And admission is free. It's by donation. Thanks to the Friends of the Mendocino County Museum and the Board of Supervisors. Thank you for that reminder. That was a note I was supposed to remember. And thank you for your time.
This is Friday, right?
Friday, 5 to 7.
All right.
Come on down.
Who else would like to speak of any non-agendized? Yes. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. My name's Dale Deere, and I spoke before the council one other time on the subject of parking for the 4th of July parade,
Yep.
and was under the impression that it was resolved until this week when I got this letter from the chief of police saying that nothing had changed and that there would be no parking on West Valley Street, Pine Street, North Street, West Commercial Street, for the parade.
Okay, so, and the chief's here, we've had 2 meetings on this one. And one of the issues, I'll clearly tell you what the issues were last year is the no parking wasn't posted in a way that prevented people from parking. And their cars were towed and it was very expensive tow bills and so forth. And my phone lit up on 4th of July.
Yeah.
And so the chief and I have met. I'm not aware of what you're talking about. I got my water bill today in the mail, or yesterday in the mail too. Maybe we could have the chief address this now.
I would just say that we've had several meetings. We're going to try to enhance the posting, and we're going to try to enhance our education that morning, that evening, to prevent cars from being towed. But should it come to the time of the parade and vehicles need to pass and it becomes a safety issue, then we will not have any sort of option except to tow someone's car that's in a place that was properly posted. So again, we will do the best we can.
We can't legally prohibit big rigs and RVs towing boats from coming on Main Street. And so when we do that, we have to have room for them to turn.
That made sense when Main Street was 101, but now we have a bypass.
Right.
So they could take the bypass.
Unless they're going to Fort Bragg and they take this off-ramp.
Right.
You know, they should take the other off-ramp, but
But my point is people that go to the parade, you want
Right.
them to come to the parade, and you want
Right.
them to have a place to park. And they all park there. I mean, there's no doubt. They all park there. My car would get towed away, but by 11 o'clock, there's no parking spaces anywhere because all the parade parking is there.
well, we're going to have it clearly
So-
marked this year, clearly marked.
And they will all park there just the same.
If they
Anyway.
park, okay, all right.
Anyway,
All right, thank you, Dale.
Can I mention one other thing?
Yes, because I talked, I used some of your 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Anyway, there's just one other thing I want to mention, and no place in the nation except Willits is a play called 4 Dogs and a Bone, and you only have 3 more opportunities to see it, and that's this weekend at the Willits Community Theater.
All right.
I'll leave it.
Who else would like to speak? Yes, Bear, camera off.
I'm David Cameron. I wanted to add a little bit to this gentleman's comment because the Mendocino College District has a bond on the June voting for, it's for $98 million, and the interest on it will bring the total to $210 million. The bond is going to be paid off entirely by property taxes, and they estimate that we will be paying off that bond for 35 years until the year 2061. Now, the flyers mentioned that it's going to be for vocational education, but I just read the bond, which is in the voter pamphlet, and there's nothing in it about education. I just want to be just a few of the things that we're going to be asked to pay our $210 million for is, and this is off their list, dining rooms, bookstores, theaters, galleries, athletic facilities, wellness facilities, performing arts facilities, building demolition and construction of a new district data center, roads, bus stops, parking lots and traffic control, fields, courts, turf, fencing, irrigation, and sculpture gardens, vehicles, furniture, elevators, generators, and that's less than a third of the total list. I've supported Mendocino College ever since I've been here, but this is a huge bite to take off at one time. And again, it's not something the state pays. It's going to come out of my property taxes. So I just encourage people who are voting to take a minute and read it before they decide how they're going to vote.
Thank you, Bear.
Thank you.
Nope. Who else? Sorry, Des. Yes. Okay.
Helen Sims. Thank you, Dale, for that shameless piece of advertising for the theater. So on that same note, Sunday, the theater is bought out by the Rotary Club. You may go online to buy tickets and it'll say it is sold out, but there are tickets available. Show up at the door, and the price you pay, which is the same as the tickets, goes to Rotary, and Rotary in the past has always given that money right back to the theater. And for that day, it's free beer and wine. So, thank you.
So we have the free museum, free beer, free wine. All right, is there anybody else who would like to talk about a non-agendized? Yes, ma'am. You're up.
Hi, I'm Caroline, and I just bought Flying Dog Pizza from Pete. Yay! So I wanted to be here to talk about the entertainment zone, but we have literally 6 out of county and state families at Flying Dog right now.
Okay, go ahead.
And so that's kind of a big deal. But all I want to say is what's good for Willits is what's good for us. When it came to First Fridays, we were a little bit nervous seeing how it would go. We didn't participate, but we had an above average Friday. So that's all I wanted to say is any activity that we can bring to downtown Willits is what's good for us.
Caroline, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody who would like to talk about a non-agendized item? Anybody who would like to do what Caroline did and talk about an agendized item, but you're in a hurry? Going once, going twice. Public comment is closed right now, so we're going to public matters, enactment of ordinances that we're going to get to in the department recommendation action items. So we'll go straight to the consent calendar. The City Council considers matters listed under the consent calendar as routine. The council will take action with a single motion roll call vote. A council member may request the removal of an item or any items from the consent calendar for separate discussion and subsequent action. And we will have public comment before we get into the consent calendar. So is there any council member who would like to pull any agendized item?
I'd like to pull B, Mr.
B as in boy? Okay. Anybody else?
What was it?
B as in boy.
I'd like to pull C as a cat.
Which one?
C as a cat.
C as in cat. Okay. Anybody else? All right, to the public. Nikki? So we pulled 2 of them. We pulled B and C.
Can I talk about B? Or?
No, we can talk about, we pulled B and C, so we'll talk about those.
I got D.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Nicole Caldwell. I just wanted to make sure that you see on the consent calendar under D, as in dog, there is the wrong date. It says that the contract is going through September 31st, 2026. It is December 31st, 2026. So I'm assuming this is a slight error.
Okay. I don't think there is a September 31st anyway.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not.
Thank you.
December. Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? All right, to the council, I need a motion for
I would like
items.
to move items A, D, and E.
All right, we have a motion?
Mayor, just one thing, I noticed on the minutes that it notes that Rod Wilburn, interim city manager, was present at the last meeting. I believe Bob was sitting in that position at that point.
All under minutes,
A correction
okay.
into the minutes, yeah.
All right, we have a correction, the minutes of who was sitting as city manager, interim city manager. All right, so to the maker of the motion, it's okay to amend as, okay?
Corrections?
So we have a motion and a second to approve items A, D, and E with the corrections in A to the clerk.
Sorry, Councilman Burton,
Yeah, aye.
Yes.
Gonzalez, Stransky,
Yes.
Alanis,
Yes.
and Almond.
Aye, so to the B as in boy, Bruce, you pulled it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm still just a little fuzzy on this thing. I tried to read the agenda summary on it. I guess in principle, I am concerned that the city has this rather large obligation for, time off and vacation pay that goes back multiple years. It was close to a seven-figure number 2 months ago. It was $879, $879,000 or somewhere in that neighborhood. And in general, I think that people ought to use it or take the compensation for it in the year that it is earned. And I'm not in favor of the city building those up in that way. I do kind of question even what is the motivation to, I believe in altruism. I think it's a wonderful thing. This seems to be a way to do it with, but I guess I still think that there's something about this that I don't understand. Somebody that has accumulated a bunch of vacation pay or compensate, whatever you call it.
But not sick leave.
Right, and they can donate it to this catastrophic bank, and then when somebody has used up, is in a medical, under a medical condition,
Right,
they use up their accumulated
benefits.
then at the discretion of the city manager, they can draw on this bank of time. Now, one thing I learned was that, that you redeem it at your present rate, not the rate that you did when you accumulated or acquired it. So there's clearly a step-up basis in that. And then there was talk about this being in conformance with the IRS and getting in conformance, but I didn't see exactly where we were out of conformance. And it seems like then the person that is getting the benefit of it takes that on as their income, and the person that's donating it isn't paying the taxes on it. So I don't know. I don't think I'm getting to the bottom of, I'm thinking of myself, I like to think I'm a generous person, but am I going to give away 40 hours a year of accumulated vacation that the city owes me, say $1,000 or whatever it is? Am I going to give that away? It doesn't seem to pass all the smell tests for me. And I think giving gifts, part of it is paying the consequence of giving the gift. If they had that money and wanted to give that individual $1,000, Give him $1,000. Doesn't cost, you can give him up to $15,000 before it's a taxable event. I just don't get it. I think I'm missing something, and I don't like the principle where we have now got the city down near $1 million in debt over accumulated in obligations for 50 employees. It's close, you know, I don't know where that ended up after we did the layoffs. Undoubtedly, people got paid off, had to get paid off because they're no longer employees. But I don't like that policy, and so I'm not inclined to support this because I don't think I am getting a clear picture of what's the driver of it. And I'm not seeing where it is clearly explained in this why it is not compliant with the IRS the way it is. So, but I'm not even sure if I got that I would support it because I have a kind of an empirical disagreement.
All right, Jerry.
I think I want Deborah to weigh in, but I think the way it worked, Bruce, was that if I had hypothetically 100 hours in my bank, I wouldn't necessarily throw it into the, we'll call it the catastrophic leave bank. It would be more like along the way, Larry gets cancer and needs time off. And at that point, HR could then say, hey, Larry's run out, there's kind of a plea out. Would folks like to drop money into the catastrophic leave bank that then Larry could draw from, is how it worked. In theory, obviously if the public works worker who makes X donates to the police chief who makes maybe more than he does, in that case, it's at the police chief's wage. But in practicality, a lot of times it would be the police chief gives the other way around. It's kind of a way to, I guess, the money's paid out at the public works worker rate as opposed to, or the pool workers rate, and not at the other one. It's just that this is cleanup language, I'm assuming, so that the IRS. So that's how I see it, and I think it's cleanup language.
Okay. You want to weigh in?
My question, if we're going to have this much more time, it has to do with what Bruce was mentioning earlier. I'm not familiar with IRS Rule 9029. I read it over the last couple of weeks or so, and I don't know. It just seemed like if we were going to do this, then all of these things would apply. But I don't really see how we're out of compliance of it right now. And maybe there's other stuff I'm not catching on. So I was hoping maybe you can speak to that a little bit when you have a chance to respond.
You want to weigh in? I do. I certainly worked for the county when we had the catastrophic leave bank, and I guess it's a very academic conversation right now to have this discussion because nobody that works for the city has cancer and everybody's healthy and we're very happy it's springtime. But when the event happens, it changes. And in a small group of employees, of say 50 employees, if somebody had a catastrophic illness, then and they had a family to support, and they were in the hospital, and they used all their benefits, then yes, the employees come together and would, believe it or not, Bruce, they would donate 40 hours of either CTO or vacation time, not sick leave, but those two things that people have worked extra, or earned them with their benefits, and it makes a big difference to those people who receive them because their families spending time at the hospital and they're buying hotels and so forth, and they're out of work. They've used all their benefits. So I've seen it work, and I've seen very generous employees give up to 80 hours of vacation to their partner because of the catastrophic situation they were going through. So, but Deborah, would you like to answer some of these questions? And then we're going to have public comment.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm Deborah Muchmore, and I'm Human Resources Advisor to the city. About 6 or 7 years ago, the IRS sent a letter ruling to a public entity, and that letter ruling spoke about the fact that they had a leave donation policy that wasn't compliant, and it's part of their constructive receipt doctrine that says that when an employee has control over when they receive the money or cash it out, and when they and what they do with it, it becomes theirs and they have to pay tax. So that's the basic premise from the IRS. So first of all, I'm going to say the council does not have to approve this. You do have a catastrophic leave policy in place. The current policy is very old. It's not in the, it's alluded to in the personnel rules, but it's not in there. And it provides for direct donation. An employee saying, I want to donate my leave to this employee. What happened at the IRS was they changed the taxation rule on this. So this is really about taxes. And they said that as if you are donating money under our doctrine of constructive receipt, if you both get to choose how much and when to take it out and who to give it to you, then you owe the tax on it. And you owe it right then in that year. And for an employee who is working and earning our average hourly rate across the city, if I'm donating 80 hours of leave, it could cost me several $100s in taxes, sometimes up to $500 in taxes to give a gift. And so the IRS created a program for compliance that would transfer the duty of taxes onto the recipient. And so that is all this does. And in order to do that, they have to take the control away from the employee and the decision of who it goes to. This is a small city and a small community of people who know each other, care for each other very much. You're going to know who's out. You're going to know who the bank is going to be benefiting. We can't put that in the staff report. We can't put that in writing. But essentially, what happened is whoever's in HR, me or anyone else, would send out a memo that says we have someone in need. If anyone would like to donate, please donate to the bank. The way the bank typically works under the compliant IRS guidelines is that the donations are not held in hours, they're held in dollars. So if the police chief, sorry for picking on you again.
It's all good.
Okay, donates to the bank 80 hours, that gets converted to dollars and his money's up there. So if someone who's in public works, and just started with the organization at the lowest level, needs catastrophic leave after 2 years or so, there's a lot of hours available to them. It doesn't cost the city as much. We are not using sick leave, which doesn't become a liability technically until someone retires or they use it. We're using leaves like vacation that is a liability that we have to pay out. So does that help at all?
It does.
Okay.
Any other questions for Deborah?
Yes, in the resolution itself, it mentions Amendment A that outlines the actual policy. It wasn't in the packet. I didn't see it.
The policy is in the packet. I just may not be labeled amendment.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about.
Okay,
Was it someplace
yeah.
else? It's not labeled anywhere.
I think it's just not labeled correctly. Let me look. Because I see the policy
This guy
here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't get Amendment A on the top. It looks like when the packet was put together.
Oh, no worries. But this is the exact wording then? Okay. Is this, our next item is going to change some of the policy procedures? This is a part of the policy procedure manual, and is this going to be changing the policy procedure manual as well?
No, the policy and procedure manual section on catastrophic
Yeah.
leave simply points to an outside policy. So that will stay the same. This policy will supersede the old outside policy that you had.
Oh, I see. So the wording itself won't be in there. It just simply says, refer to that.
Correct.
Okay. In that wording, it refers to Human Resources Department. And I'm just curious about whether that need to be changed because we have a consultant now, or whether that should be adjusted, or what are your
So the
thoughts?
Administrative Services Department and the Administrative Services Manager is in charge of the human resources for the city. So it would go to that department. That's not unusual. Sebastopol calls it that way too. It just depends on what you would like to have it called. We didn't go through at this time and change any other language in the policy document than that language that we discussed with our labor organizations when we were in meet and confer and negotiation. There's a lot of items that need to get changed in there, a lot of titles, a lot of references. Those are conversations that still have to be had, but we're in front of you today as an item that says we're not going to change anything between now and December 31st. So.
May I ask, why are we not doing this all at once then? I mean, I know that, I was on the grand jury commission, our ad hoc committee. We've been asking this since January to change the labels on these things, and now we have more stuff to change it, but we're not changing what the board asks to change.
When we get to the next item, there is a reason that we're making a change now, otherwise we would have held it off.
No, that's, the reason for this change makes perfect sense, but why are we not doing the other ones now? Like, why are we not doing all of those?
Because
changes?
we did not engage and meet and confer with our labor organizations over other changes.
Understandable, but
Why
as the
didn't
human
we?
resources contract,
Yeah.
I may be hammering on this. It's obviously a choice that was made. It's not like
Yeah.
a good or bad thing. You obviously made a choice not to do those, but I'm a little disappointed in that choice because it needed to. All of these things need to be done at one time, I feel. And I don't know if we need a new ad hoc committee so we can take a look at this so we can talk about it and get more details. But I don't want to do this piecemeal. I don't want to do this policy here, this policy here, this policy here, and so on. That's my concern. But I appreciate you addressing that concern. Thank you so much.
So to the Vice Mayor,
Yes.
we don't have a magic wand to make it all happen all at once. And changing the city policies and procedures does include meeting with 4 different labor unions and the non-represented. And I think what we're seeing with the changes that have occurred in the last 90 days with the city and the organization chart is we've realized that, I'll be very blunt, the policy and procedure manual that this city has had is woefully out of date. And since we don't have a magic wand to make it all, we're piecemealing, and as I think heard Deborah say, is basically December 31st is a time that we're shooting for a goal to have this updated. So we have to start somewhere, and we're starting with a catastrophic leave bank.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did I misspeak?
I can't speak to that because under the scope of my contract, the city manager directs that, and so that would be a conversation with the city manager, but I definitely will bring the concern of the council there, and we will talk about that, because we do get back together with the labor organizations for negotiations. You have a labor negotiator, Patrick Clark, and he will be entering into negotiations at the end of the year, September, probably August, September, somewhere in there.
No, I think that makes perfect sense, which I would like to remind everybody. That's why at the last meeting, I suggested that maybe we should not approve the HR contract for that very reason, because we need a city manager to make all of these things work. How are we going to do all these things? And now it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and here's the first example. And if we had a city manager, we'd be able to deal with all this stuff. But I think it's just a difference of decision making, and it certainly makes sense to do it as a piecemeal thing, and that's one person's. People can feel that way. I just feel it to be done the other way around. We've had 90 days. We've had 6 months. We've had longer than that. And if we need to create an ad hoc committee so that we can look at this and get it done in a matter of 30 days or 60 days, I'd be in favor of that. But I'm just not excited about the idea of piecemeal. We're going to miss something. Something's going to happen. Something's going to contradict each other. And it's not going to be anyone's fault, and we're going to do it on purpose. It's going to be accidental, and we're going to find ourselves in a bad situation. So I just would like to promote the idea that we should do it all at once, and if I'm the minority in that, that's okay. And I don't have any problem with what this contract says or catastrophic leave. I think it's a great idea. I've seen it work in schools all the time, so it's a really great idea. But
This isn't a contract tonight. This is a policy and procedure.
I know.
Okay, you said you have no problem with the way this contract reads. We're not talking about a contract.
I'm on this policy, excuse me. So
Okay, all right.
No problem with the way this policy reads.
Okay. Any other from the council? Anything else for Deborah? Thank you very much. To the public, who wants to comment? Nikki, you're up. And then Helen.
Hi, my name is Nikki Caldwell. First off, I do have a couple issues with that, and I already talked to Deborah about it. It needs to be a rock-solid way how to get the money. I don't want to sound rude, but there will be people that will know how to use the system when they used all their time to use the little back doors to get the 40 hours max that can be given to them, and I'm afraid of that. Secondly, in the agenda summary report itself, the alternative impact and the fiscal impact are the same. So I don't know if that was accidentally a problem with the copy and paste while we did that. It clearly seems like each one of those is supposed to have a different line in it and not the same. So I'm assuming that's a minor mistake again. But yeah, so I'm for it in the way we had it. We all remember Chief Warlock, when he got sick, everybody asked to be donating. We all donated towards him. I like it if you can make it personal to who you want to donate it and not just in a bank and everybody can grab it. Again, I have a hard time knowing that the way you can get it is actually be used in a fair way by everybody.
Thank you. Helen, you're up.
Thank you, Helen Sims. I'm actually concerned about something Mayor Alanis said, using the word piecemeal. I'd like to know if the much more contract, I have not read it, if it deals with all of these corrections to the policy manual, and I do know that the policy manual is in need of repair. I'd like to know if her contract covers everything under the scope of the price that's paid, or if we're going to get nickeled and dimed as things go on and these piecemeal adjustments happen. This happens, and we get charged more and more to repair this document.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this agenda item? Davey?
Davey Bowles, your building official, Public Works Director. So I started way back in 2019. I was only here half a year when I had a family catastrophe. And I had accrued no leave, hardly at all. And I had to take a lot of time off. And the city staff here, who barely knew me, they were all very generous. And it helped me through a really tough time. And I really appreciate that. And so I think it's a very useful tool for city staff to help people out. We are a small community, and it's very helpful when you have the ability to help someone out. And
Okay.
so, thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like public comment? Buffy?
Hello, I'm Buffy Barassa, and I work for the county. And I started in 2014 in Human Resources and got to learn a lot about the Catastrophic Leave Bank. I think it's an excellent idea for the county. We're encouraged to put in an hour in order to use the bank. I noticed that you can just use the bank. So if everyone put in an hour, then you would have at least 50 hours in that bank, or the cash amount. And so what it really made me think about was in 2017 when we had the fires, we had a lot of people that were, burned out and needed to take off like a week or a little more. And, so the email went out and we were able to donate to all of those folks and help them get through that really horrible time. And I think this is a really good thing that we should be looking at. And so, yeah, and it lives in HR, and they have a bank, and everybody takes care of it, and so.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if I swayed you or not, Bruce.
Okay. Eric? Good evening.
Good evening. Eric Hart. I think this is a great idea. It's always beneficial to support your fellow workers. I do have one concern. I mean, this, especially with such a lean organization that we're running right now, we need to make sure that everybody is supported. We need to make sure that when you put the process and the policy in, that, as I think he was alluding to a little bit, there needs to be a clear process about how that is awarded and how make sure that it is fairly awarded, and that there is no process of preferential treatment or selection when those decisions are made. So make sure that that's included in it, and I think otherwise it's a great idea.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this item? Going once, going twice. Public comment is closed to the council.
Good night.
Go.
The only concern I see is I like the idea of knowing who you're giving it to, you're more apt to want to give it to somebody, but at the same time, if I knew I'm going to get socked with taxes, and I depending on how much I was giving, I might not be that generous, depending on, and so I'd almost have to kind of know that something's happening, and again, I might get the memo that says somebody in the city's having an issue. Well, it's such a small city that you're all going to know who that is. I mean, the time I was at the city, you pretty much knew if somebody was having an issue. I don't know of a time when we've had multiple people having issues, but it could be the case that when I gave time to our lead bank, I kind of knew who it was, but I would have given to a bank. And again, I think it might make people a little more easy. I would give, knowing that I still wanted to keep some time for me to have for what I needed, but at the same time, I think I might be more inclined to give if I knew I wasn't going to get socked with taxes.
So, Deborah, if we pass this the way the ordinance is, the changes, the person responsible for the tax is the person who's receiving the benefit.
Correct.
And not the person who's donating.
Correct.
Okay.
But if we don't, then right now, both are on the hook. If we do it like some people want, and people want to know who it is, then...
The compliance issue is that up until recently, when we got here and started looking at policies with the city manager, the payroll was not charging tax on the donor. But that's out of compliance with IRS. And so now that we know, or should have known, now we have to. And so that's kind of to be compliant. I mean, the council could direct otherwise, but that would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
And the council might consider giving direction to add more clarity to how the process is for selection.
All right, to the council.
I would make the motion that we pass this, and obviously with some direction for some more clarity, so people know when they're giving what's up.
Okay.
No, what, Jerry?
To know, I guess, we were talking about clarity. I guess you know what it entails when you're giving.
No, actually, the clarity would be that there's fairness in the selection process of who receives the donation.
Yeah.
And unbiased process.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
Or could I?
Well, with the mayor's permission,
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. I heard you say something, and there are two different pieces here that don't match up. Okay, so on the very front agenda summary report, on the third line down, it reads, the city does not currently have a formally adopted catastrophic leave bank policy. But on the next page, which is apparently the same agenda report, I don't know why we're doing this twice, it's a whole separate thing, but anyhow, on the very, fourth paragraph down, under background, it reads, the city has an existing policy that this policy would supersede. So you just mentioned previously we did have one. So did we have one previously?
We do have one. This is the staff report is the one I wrote.
Okay.
And we do have one.
And who writes these?
I believe that I had some help from the city clerk's office on, because I didn't do an agenda.
Oh, that's okay. I wasn't trying to pinpoint.
I apologize, and I probably should have caught that when I saw the agenda come out.
Okay, so the fact is we did used to have one.
Yeah, but I will be doing these from now on because
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion. I don't have a second. We have a motion from Councilman Gonzalez to approve what was submitted, but make it more resolute in the selection process. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Any more discussion?
My other concern on here is that just the more we talk about it, more it looks like it's a bit of an administrative nightmare as well, the personnel time that it takes to put together this and the potential for, politicking in it further kind of convinces me that everybody donating should be if you want to do it anonymously, you can, but I think there's been general discussion around here that you pretty much know who it's going to go to, and the call goes out. It's not like you donate your hour tomorrow or your hours tomorrow. It sounds like you donate it maybe when the need arises and there's a call that goes out. But I think it's a personal choice, and so if you have to pay $200 in taxes and the person receiving the benefit gets $800 instead of $1,000, he's going to have to pay the $200. The net effect is the same. Just seems like you're adding a layer of bureaucracy to something that doesn't really need to be there. I'm just not convinced that we have the staff to administer yet another benefit.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. To the clerk.
So Brooks?
You calling me?
Yeah.
No.
So please take a roll call vote.
Sorry. Councilman Burton?
No.
And Gonzalez?
Yes.
Stransky?
No.
Alanis?
No.
And
Yes. Motion fails. All right, moving on to C's and Charles' adoption of resolution approving amendments to the city's personnel policies and procedures manuals to the vice mayor.
Yes, I honestly think that a lot of the questions I had were already addressed. I was concerned about doing it part by part, a little concerned about the time and cost that goes into. I was just curious about why I didn't, but it's already been handled and talked about, so I'm okay with that. As far as the resolution itself, I don't really have any issues with those changes. It's just wanted to kind of pull it aside so I can speak my mind about the importance of doing it all at once, but that's okay. I've already said my piece, so I don't really have anything else to talk about with regards to 5C.
Okay, so are you going to make a motion to approve it, or?
Well, I'm going to ask if maybe these other people have anything else to say, but yes.
You can still make a motion.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. In that case, I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for adopting a resolution approving the amendments to the city's personnel policies and procedures manual.
And we'll go to public comment after the second. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. To the public. Any comment on this? By all means. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Tamara Alanis. I think that we have administrative tools like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, where you can literally type in the word Human Resources Manager, and it will find all of those things inside of there. And what you're adopting with this item is it's riddled with mistakes, riddled with things that don't exist. And here you are adopting a new policy that you just actually didn't adopt, but you're going about adopting a new policy that would have been incorporated into that document, and you still have a problematic document. If you're already piecemealing it by doing individual policies one at a time, I don't see why you feel it's necessary and immediate to adopt the full policy manual with all of these problematic issues in it. I think it creates more confusion for the employees that are here at the city. My policy and personnel manual is #1 for the employees, #1, so that they have a resource to go to that is reliable, consistent, and that they can use to know what's going on. How do they do things? How do we do things? What do they need to do things? That's what the policy manual's for. It's not so that you can go, okay, good, we got that done, got that through, and let's do the next policy, and then we'll put a little bit in the next policy, from the next policy into the policy manual. I don't think it's a good idea. So I think that, and I heard Vice Mayor Alanis say it, and I have to agree. I would never piecemeal a policy manual myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to comment? Okay, to the council, is there anybody else other than the vice mayor who would like to be on an ad hoc committee on the policy and procedure manual?
I would be interested, but once we have a permanent city manager.
We can't. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball.
I know. I just.
How about we, if you want to volunteer for an ad hoc, that we put together the ad hoc now, and we at least start gathering the information. But no decisions will be made until we have a permanent city manager.
I think they're very right. I think we can identify the things that need to be changed without
okay.
actually making changes to, anything of the sort.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, but with the maker of the motion's permission, we're going to continue this on for at least 4 weeks, or at least a month, until the ad hoc committee has had an opportunity to meet and grapple with the movement we need to make. Is that okay? Is that okay with the maker's motion?
Sir?
All right, so C as in Charles is not going to be voted on, and the ad hoc committee for the Willits City Policy and Procedure Manual will be the Vice Mayor and Councilman Gonzalez.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I just ask, I mean, it's a 141-page document. I have it appears to be in here twice. Is there something different with the second printing than the first? I mean, I could not follow.
The first one has the changes in red font, but maybe it didn't come out of the printer in red font.
So then, no, it is in here, the red thing part, I saw that, but then I slogged through that 141 pages, and then, Lord, I came up with another 141 pages, and I just kind of, I ran out of steam. I mean, is the second one the clean version? Is that what it is? Okay. All right. If you have two actual documents in your hand, you can kind of, but trying to do your homework with this.
All right, moving on.
Okay, thank you.
So we have we're moving to the monthly activity reports. Is there any public comment on the monthly activity reports?
You talking about the building department stuff?
I am. Business license, building and accounts payable. Yep.
Well, I got some accounts payable when you
All
get
right.
to it. I don't think we really have anybody maybe to address it, but maybe Davey can help me on a couple things.
Okay. Bill?
Okay. Davey, one of the things that stood out in here was the Alpha Labs. We had 3 different batches to Alpha Labs, obviously for water testing for both wastewater and I total them up, it's about $25,000 for this pay period. And we used to have a lab at the sewer plant. Do we still operate that lab?
No, as far as I know, we require a lot more certifications to do our own testing and send it out, and they discontinued that a while ago, as far as I know. I'd have to discuss it with Scott on when we exactly stopped doing that, but.
So my next question then is, I mean, I have noticed these in the past, but I haven't. Alpha Labs sounds like a necessary expense, obviously.
Yes, it's required by our permits.
And I'll watch, but do you know, are these quarterly generally, or are they monthly, or, I mean, I know the water testing I have to do, but I'm just curious, at $25,000 a month, you can do that math, and it's a pretty good number.
A lot of those aren't monthly. I think I did the tally, and it was approximately $140,000 a year for some of the testing for the sewer plant. So some of those are monthly, some of those are more often, some of those are more infrequent for the water plant.
But in the budget, and I didn't, I should have, I probably gone and looked at that, I didn't take that time. But
We do budget for that.
in the budget for 130 grand for water testing for wastewater?
Yeah, approximately.
Okay. Well, that kind of stood out to me.
It is very expensive.
No, hold on just a second, please, Nikki, just a minute. So is this all, may I assume all this is state mandated and federal mandated testing?
Yes, it's all required by our discharge permits and our operation permit for the water department. Yes.
Okay.
We don't do superfluous tests for no reason.
I get it, I understand, has to be added. Nikki, would you like to address this?
Yeah. Maybe if I can. My name is Nikki Caldwell. I can talk for the wastewater, partially for the water. We do weekly testing, we do monthly testing, we do quarterly testing, semi-annual testing on multiple things, depending on if we irrigate or discharge, it's more and it's less.
Great.
We do the pre-treatment, we do California toxic rule, we do the septic quarterly. I mean, we have a whole list at the plant. If anybody's interested, we can maybe give them to the council. And that's just wastewater, that's not water.
I don't think anybody's questioning the fact we do testing.
No, just so you know how much it actually
Right,
is.
okay.
And yes, it's getting more now that we have the PFAS and everything else, so.
Right. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is maybe for you, Jim, Mr. Lance. In charges against the general fund for an attorney named Cole Huber for $10,000 last month.
I believe that the interim manager engaged a personnel attorney on a matter. I wasn't engaged in that, but I believe that might be the.
That's our, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that's our attorney that we hired to help us with dealing with the issue that the Van Hotel.
Correct. He's a receivership specialist, and we currently have an ongoing case against the Van Hotel. That fee this last month was we had a court update on where it's at, and so that's the fees for the filings and appearing at court.
What's going on there, Jim?
Well, I'm not personally handling that. The city engaged outside counsel to do that, and I believe a complaint was filed, but not hasn't been processed.
The city filed a complaint?
Yes, the city filed a complaint for the appointment of a receiver to take over the Van Hotel if certain things didn't get fixed. And Davey has been working with that attorney, and
Did the council give direction that they wanted to take receivership of the Van Hotel?
So maybe we should, so this was a closed session item. I'm not sure because it's ongoing litigation. I'm
It'd be nice to know about it.
I believe I can provide, not here at the meeting tonight, but I can give an update to council on the approach. And yes, in general, staff did receive direction to deal with the public nuisance issue that the Van Hotel represents.
Okay.
But I believe updates have been in place.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the direction that came from the council was about 2 years ago.
Correct, this has been an ongoing issue.
It wasn't this council.
Correct, that's right.
Right, okay.
Amazing what you find. Okay, we had a check made to the citywide CIP to Wailatee Resource Management for $103,000. What are those guys doing?
That's the repair work on Franklin. That is a project. We had a failed storm drain over there on the
No,
corner.
I know that.
That is,
I thought that was like an $80,000.
It was total's $115,000, so you'll see another $9,000 bill come across your desk there. That is being reimbursed by MCOG funding.
Okay.
Cool. 100% reimbursed by MCOG?
Actual work. It's not staff time, but the actual work, the Wailati bills, yes.
All right, okay, thank you.
And then, maybe you can help on this too. The Graham Backflow Services, we paid him $9,000. He bills the people that he checks too. I mean, does he get paid on both sides?
So we charge a fee for everyone that has a backflow device. That fee goes into a certain fund string, and that is what pays his, what the city pays for it. The city used to do the inspections and certify the backflow preventers. It became too costly to keep someone on staff with that training. So we've been subcontracting that out. For the repairs, we don't pay him for repairs. I do believe he offers a service for repair. I don't believe that's our standard practice that he charges both sides. We pay him for the inspection and the certification.
Okay.
One second, Dan. Anybody else have a question? All right, so any more question on that? Because we have Daniel who could answer. You have to come on up, Daniel, I'm sorry.
That's fine. I just have a question because, and just a statement, in the previous years, we've had 2 certified backflow testers that have worked for the city, and currently we have 4 certified backflow testers. So I'm just wondering why we don't utilize them to do this instead of paying Graham to do it. I mean, he's a great guy, but why are we using such staff?
Fair question. Thank you.
That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else have any questions regarding any of the activity reports? Okay, there's no action needed. We'll just, they're information only. We have no commissions and agencies happening, and we have a city manager report. So the interim city manager, his 960 hours, 980 hours, whatever it is, ran out Monday this week. And so he called me on Friday to say he thought he had another 2 weeks. He said, I don't have another 2 weeks. Monday's my last day. And I could either have called a special meeting for the council or violated the Brown Act and called everybody, which I did not do. And I told him to go ahead and have Dusty fill in until Wednesday night, and we do have a closed session meeting tonight. So I appreciate you've been interim city manager for 2 days. Thank you. You have a report.
Not too much to report, a couple things to say. So yeah, at about 10:30, Bob comes and says, hey, what are you doing at noon? The mayor and I would like to meet with you.
On Monday.
On Monday, right. So I was appointed to the interim role at the end of the day on Monday. And about 5 minutes later, I got forwarded an email that demanded immediate attention. So I just want to recognize and appreciate approximately 300 seconds of the honeymoon period I had sitting in the seat. But really why I bring it up is that it was incredibly rewarding to see how quickly staff effectively rallied around the issue that we had to deal with. And it reminded me of one of this organization's superpowers. We have an incredible staff that is dedicated to supporting each other. And sometimes, especially recently, it's really been stepping out of their normal roles or learning something entirely new. So tonight, Amber Ojeda, one of our best and brightest, is absolutely an example of that. She is stepping into the city clerk role for Miss Dolores Peterson, who's out of town today. I'd like to think I'm an example of that myself, sitting up here tonight and being willing to support the city and this community in whatever role the council feels is warranted. And I also just want to take this moment while I'm sitting up here to just really acknowledge the professionalism and perseverance of the city staff during this really challenging period for the organization. So despite the difficult circumstances, we have a staff that shows up and is dedicated to serving this community, and that deserves recognition. So just wanted to share that.
Any public comment on the city manager report?
Mayor, you said we had a closed door session today?
Well, it's on the agenda. Item 12.
Yep.
Oh, my apologies. Okay. Sounds good.
All right, no more closed session, so we're going to the department recommendation, discussion, and consideration of adoption. This is a final hearing of the resolution establishing a downtown entertainment zone. Presenting staff member Connor Stack, city planner. Connor, thank you very much.
Immediately forgot. All right. Honorable Mayor and City Council, I'm coming today with the resolution, basically the rule set for a possible incoming entertainment zone. I came and spoke to you a few months ago to talk and pass the entertainment zone ordinance, which sort of set up a brief framework. And this is sort of the exact rules for you guys to look over and possibly approve. If this isn't approved tonight, then in theory, an organization or event thrower could put forward a management plan and take advantage of an entertainment zone. So first, sort of going to go over that, and then a brief recap of what an entertainment zone is before going over the exact sort of rules that council has to look at today. So just to go over the basics, the proposed area for the entertainment zone includes is up there on the map, includes portions of Main Street, East Commercial Street, State Street, and nearby public spaces in downtown. Now, as a clarifier, because this is a question that's come up repeatedly, this is sort of an area where all events have sort of occurred before. The entertainment zone being taken advantage of are typically smaller chunks and smaller areas within this map. It's not that any time the zone's being used, that entire imprint is a party zone or entertainment zone.
So each of these areas, it could be, but we could have an entertainment zone that doesn't include all this area?
Any smaller, it could be a tiny portion.
Okay.
However, as a requirement of activating the entertainment zone, it needs to include being a neighbor to a building that already has an ABC license to sell alcohol. So there are some limitations there. Like you couldn't just have it in the park because there's nowhere it's attached to where there's buildings that sell alcohol.
I see. Okay. Got it.
All right.
Great.
So just to say, as part of the rule set that's been established here, for you guys to approve today is boundaries, which is this shown, day and hours, types of alcohol and eligible events, and that this proposed zone would use existing public streets, sidewalks, and public gathering areas, so no infrastructure would need to be additionally built or constructed by the city for this. So just zoom in, showing the map in question. Quick recap of the entertainment zone is there designated areas where bars, restaurants, breweries, and wineries, any ABC licensed businesses can sell drinks to go. Patrons can enjoy drinks in outdoor common areas during city-approved special events, and this was allowed by SB 969. As a note, with the original objective sort of set in place when this was being discussed months ago when I started going around and collecting this, was to support downtown businesses originally suggested by the Chamber of Commerce that we looked into and then suggested by council, by increasing foot traffic, encouraging patrons to visit multiple establishments during events, enhance downtown's identity as a lively community-friendly hub, improve coordination between event organizers, businesses, law enforcement, and the city, as well as allow alcohol consumption in a controlled environment with clear rules, boundaries, security measures, and cleanup requirements. As a reminder, during events we have currently, if there are booths there, through ABC requirements, you can set up a booth to serve alcohol. And right now that is already allowed with state guidelines. However, what this allows is just for the brick and mortars to be a part of that and for local businesses to take advantage of that during events. Just to go over again what the framework was set is sort of, this is the second step as a reminder in a three-step program for something to take advantage of the entertainment zone. The first step, which is the local framework for entertainment zone, is already set through an approved ordinance that council approved in March. This will be the rule set that, if approved by council, will go into place. And after that, a management plan would need to be sent that would be approved administratively by the Community Development Department as well as the Chief of Police, who both look over the management plan and make judgments to make sure it follows the rule set stated tonight, as well as follows any sort of safety or public safety needed. As part of this, in the resolution and in the management plan, there's all sorts of things where if something seems uncertain or seems dangerous or seems unsafe, that's a judgment call that can be made there as well. Work? Yes. Just to give some more details on the management plan, so this is the thing that, if someone's throwing an event, this is what they give the city to be approved. When somebody gives a management plan, they need a zone operator, so basically a person in charge of the event who's going to be held responsible in the point of contact. All the property owners for any entertainment zone being used will be notified, and there'll be notification requirements attached. Any security measures to be approved by the chief of police will need to be in that management plan, as well as trash, recycling, restroom access, and post-event and cleanup plans. Now, as a note, a lot of this in terms of cleanup and notification of property owners is something that would happen already if there were an event going on in that place. This is just something, we don't have anything for notification in events in our official ordinances. So this is something to sort of make it very clear on what needs to occur for somebody to take advantage of it.
So it codifies what we're doing in actual practice.
Yes. So now on to the proposed regulations. So these are the things in question that are set through resolution. A lot of things, we didn't put 1,000 rules and narrow everything down. A lot of it is in terms of the public safety aspect of it, is in the hands of the chief of police. When it comes down, is making sure it's within reason, that it's a safe operation. But the 3 things in question that are brought before council that have some special wiggle room, or if something needs to be changed, can be changed, is the time to use an entertainment zone. Right now, it's limited to just special events at the request of council. So those are events that need a full management plan and need a zoning permit, as well as limited from noon to 9 p.m. Not limited for whatever weekdays, just that time, and for special events to be taken advantage of and used. The second thing to be approved by council is currently the entertainment zone would allow beer, wine, and distilled spirits. That's the official definition. It's allowed for all alcohols basically fall under those categories. Like wine covers a bunch of different things that aren't necessarily distilled, and there's some wiggle room there, but that includes basically all alcohols would be allowed in the entertainment zone under this. And then the third thing to be approved is the direct boundaries of the zone, which is something picked up and suggested by council, but still can be adjusted. And just as a reminder, the boundaries of the zone, just a bigger image again of what we're suggesting. Now, as a note, some of the areas here, we haven't necessarily had street closures before directly attached to it. However, we know that there are businesses that are excited to use and take advantage of the entertainment zone for events that it was a direction to add them from council meetings to make sure they can take advantage, such as some of our friends further north on Main Street. And I believe that's all I have today. So again, I'm not sure I can reverse. Can I reverse? Oh, yes, I can. Lovely.
You should be able to scroll on the mouse each way.
Oh, technology. Lovely. And so, in addition to passing this, does the council have any questions about sort of what's here and what we're looking at, and anything that needs to be changed or adjusted? Yes?
So kind of to recap, we passed this today. From this point on, it would all be ministerial. They would apply to the planning department. They would go through the approvals. These individual events wouldn't come back to the council each and every time.
That is correct.
Okay.
And the 2 administrative things that would happen is the first is what we're sort of doing, the community development departments are already doing with events, is making sure traffic control is okay and moving through things in terms of an actual event. But then additionally, going past the chief of police to make sure everything is safe and within reason.
And hypothetically, somebody brings up, let's say, I can't think of an event that would be, but maybe they want to walk their hamsters and serve liquor, whatever it is, and let's say a particular business in the downtown says, you know what, I don't really like the idea of this, and they come to you guys and say, they would obviously have a time before that event to come before the council and say, hey, we don't think this is conducive to the community.
That is indeed nothing about an entertainment zone will be a surprise because there'll be widespread notification for anybody using it for these direct events, and you'll be notified for the event sort of what exactly is occurring. And so stuff like that can be brought up in the news. And again, there's some details here that isn't necessarily presentation. Like an example, if this is passed every 2 years, this will be looked upon again to see if it needs to be adjusted or if anything weird has happened or new guidelines need to be set.
Mayor, can I
Sure.
provide a little clarification to Councilmember Gonzalez's question? So and I, again, always love your example. So in the example where it's a hamster bar crawl event, and there's concerns, the chief has made a requirement that all hamsters must be leashed during the event, but you have folks that don't feel like that's enough of a mitigation and want to protest the decision by the department to ministerially approve that the use of the entertainment zone for that event. As with any ministerial action within the city, they can appeal that and pay the fee for bringing it forward to a hearing body. So in that situation, it could come to council on an appeal.
Okay. And I thought that was what we discussed, but I thought I'd bring it up.
I thought this was just going to be a beer and wine deal. Did I mishear that?
It can be all three. So this is the standard language that's used for beer, wine, and distilled spirits. It can be adjusted. It was something that I went around business to business, basically walking up and down Main Street, sort of asking preferences, and there was no preferences against spirits anywhere. There was a support of all three.
But Connor, it has to be connected to a business that sells distilled spirits, and John's place is not on this map, so I can't imagine how distilled spirits would be part of this map when we don't have a distilled spirit business in the zone.
Mayor, can I?
We do, actually. You've got El Mex sells margaritas. And
Wine margaritas.
Wine margaritas,
wine.
Jerry.
Sorry, you've been getting ripped off.
Oh, I don't drink, so I assume they have. So.
Mayor, can I
Yeah.
also provide a little clarification on that item? So we are hoping, for instance, that Al's Redwood Room gets purchased and reactivated. I don't know if that becomes a possibility for serving distilled spirit. But regardless of that, I mean, you're correct. Like currently, there aren't any businesses that are eligible within the entertainment boundaries that serve distilled spirits. And the council may choose to have that stricken from the resolution, and thereby anyone using the entertainment zone will be ineligible for requesting, that type of alcohol in the future. It's also correct that a prospective party planner, event coordinator that wants to request the use of or the serving of distilled spirits within the alcohol zone, they still have to get the permission of the chief. So there's still an opportunity at the staff level to deny the request. But what this is doing is just basically creating the eligibility parameters of it.
Okay.
But again, the council as
So the chief could say beer and wine okay, but I'm not comfortable with this.
or we want additional security or reduced hours or whatever those other mitigation measures.
But would it, could an event go on that was going on in the entertainment zone and the Lions Club has their distilled spirit business that, could they set up in the park?
They're already allowed to, under the current, because the Lions Club sets up down here during the car show.
So in a correct. So in a situation where you have an event and someone like the Lions Club or the Arts Center for First Friday or someone, they can request an ABC license. They can request to serve distilled spirits. And under that scenario, and we're outside this entertainment zone discussion, just how the events have typically been run in the city, the chief has to sign off on that and may choose not to. But in that scenario, with city permission, ABC does have the ability to issue a one-day license to include distilled spirits.
Does he, considering, do we not have a gentleman in question that is talking about distilling sake
Well, that's
That counts in-
fermented.
or fermented, so that's not distilled?
I'll also say that's under the definition with ABC, and it counts under wine for their
Oh,
definitions,
okay.
which is sort of interesting.
All right, I was trying to think if that would be one that maybe was prepped.
My thing with this is still the same, is the city responsible in any way on any of this for liability?
In terms of insurance and liability, it's the same as other events where it's the event holder.
For to being sued about. Because all we have to do is have the city on anything that is out there, and we're the deep pockets. I'm just telling you that that's the way the insurance looks at it.
They're in the wrong pocket, wrong pair of pants with us.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
I get it. So Larry, we have the car show and we have the hometown festival.
You're not going to change my mind on it.
No, I'm just saying, we already have it. We already are doing it.
Well, and I think what happens in with, whether it be Frontier Days or whether it be the car show,
but
their insurance puts us as an insured, they list the city as also insured.
But the Frontier Days has a fence around their place and the people cannot leave. And also, it's just two different, you're talking two different things.
Okay.
Anything
else? Okay, to the public. One second, I have a question for you, Connor. So when we talked about this, I think in February or March.
For a while.
We have talked about, I'm just going to point here, we talked about going East Commercial in this area, and I don't remember including Snyder Park in that conversation that we had back in February, March. Am I incorrect?
This map is, I believe, identical to the practice one which was shown during the map in March for the ordinance, which was given as an example map. And the reason this is an example map, again, to restate it, is both for North Spur on North Main Street, as well as the sake operation that's planning to open there, and the fact that in terms of events, stuff needs to be connected. So by connecting sort of Bud Snyder Park there on the outside, it allows for a couple of different access routes that would be difficult otherwise in terms of traffic control. So thinking forward in terms of managing stuff or creating different pathways to make sure stuff is safe with an entertainment zone being used, opening it up was sort of the idea to be able to connect things. It's not a requirement, again, if things are shifting, but that was something that I believe popped up from a want to make sure that there were options in terms of detouring.
How do you see this affecting the parking around Snyder Park? Do you think this would have a parking effect around Snyder Park?
It'll have no further negative effect than events already would have. Again, this is for use of something like this with shutdowns, and that's already used in ways like the farmer's market.
So foot traffic then?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, any other questions for Connor? All right, to the public.
Those of us who live
Wait.
around the park.
Come on up.
Kathy.
My voice is loud enough, you don't hear me.
Good evening. Kathy, you have to tell us who you are.
My name is Kathy Boudelier. I live over on the corner of State Street and Marin Street. And the meeting you had a couple of months ago, I didn't get my notice until the week after the meeting. That's why I wasn't here. But one of the major things that us property owners who live in that area face is parking. On Thursdays, farmers market days, I will have 5 cars parked around my property. Good luck finding a parking place unless I go out there at 6 in the morning and put out my cones so that when I go to work and when I come back, I can find a parking place. We need to figure out a way to make more parking available They might have to walk a block, but most people don't want to.
Okay.
That's the major headache that I get. And I am concerned with serving alcohol in the city park where kids are playing.
Okay, so this entertainment zone, the alcohol that we're talking about would come from current businesses that have ABC license. So such as El Mex, maybe Buzzard Roost, the Flying Dog Pizza, so forth.
Okay,
This
so it
doesn't,
wouldn't be served there. That doesn't sound-
unless it was a nonprofit that got an ABC license that, the Lions Club could serve it down there. But for the most part, they want to be around foot traffic, and foot traffic is on Main Street. So,
Okay, well, then the Main Street can deal with the headache of parking.
okay, thank you. Who else would like to weigh in? Nikki, you're up, and then Bears.
Hi, my name is Nikki Caldwell. Just a really, really quick question. Who's responsible for all the trash that's being left behind? Like if the park is included, and we get those whatever plastic cups for the drinking, and they're all over. Is the person that arranged that festival responsible for cleaning up? I know it was the last one. The porta potties were still there Monday or Tuesday. The hay is over the road. I mean, no, I get it. Everything needs time to be picked up, but just a question, who's responsible for the trash pickup?
And Connor's ready to
I know.
answer that question. Thank you.
I have some answers. So things like trash pickup is something dictated in the management plan to be taken care of. Currently, for events, we don't have something like a management plan because we have no ordinances or rules in place. We do some stuff to try to get folks to clean up through encroachment permits that we attach to sometimes, or other sort of sideways ways, but we don't have anything currently for normal events that don't take advantage of the entertainment zone. We just are hoping to sort of put something into place for use that maybe even can be used for normal events in different areas to make sure stuff's being done the right way and improved consistently.
Connor, the Chamber of Commerce is usually here, and my recollection, they support this.
100%.
Okay.
Support it, started it, have been peeking at it every part of the process. I'm
Okay.
excited for it. As an example, they had their First Fridays that had some great success that took advantage of the serving of alcohol that's currently legal, which is the daily thing that the Willits Center of the Arts used. But as an example, that First Fridays, it could expand to the parking lot next to Flying Dog, and then say Flying Dog could take advantage of it
Got it,
then
okay.
with a stamped.
All right, thank
It's an
you.
example of use.
All right, thank you. Bear, you're up. Who's after Bear? Okay, Eric, just a minute.
I just wanted to ask 3 questions. Number one, whether the city's insurance company has weighed in on this, or whether there's a possibility that our rates might go way up, even though they may just be a few events, because obviously the city is definitely liable for anything. So have we heard from them? Have we asked them? That's one question. The second question, apparently there are boundaries for these events. Is there one format on how these boundaries will be marked? Are somebody going to stand there?
I think it'll be signage. It'll be signage.
Well, excuse me?
Signage, signs?
Signs saying stop here. Like, will they be putting a fence around City Park? Yep. And will they have to hire, or will somebody have to hire security to stand there around the park?
If the management plan says so, then they have to do that.
Yeah. Otherwise, security is just informal.
Well, we do have a police department, so,
Because
yeah.
you're not going to have the police standing out there.
No, no,
Okay. So do you know whether our insurance company?
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
So state law has codified this during the pandemic. The state legislature passed this in support of the city of San Francisco, who wanted to have these entertainment zones to allow businesses to try to get back on their feet.
Well, I'm not opposed to it. I support the idea. I'm just curious how much we're going to have to dip into to our own city funds to pay for it.
Thank you. Any other, oh, Eric, you're up.
Or, everybody had an answer about the insurance company?
I can agree. So I can answer for the insurance that the aspect and risk that's being taken by the city is no more that's already being insured by the event holders when a temporary daily license is given. So it's the same rights and the same liability from what I understand.
Such as a hometown festival.
Such as any other thing where currently there's daily alcohol uses. And that's been what I've seen so far from all other cities that have taken advantage of entertainment zones. I haven't seen any changes or increases from what's already happening.
And Fort Bragg has an entertainment zone.
That's right.
Does Ukiah?
No. In Fort Bragg's entertainment zone works a little differently in that they aren't limited with the event format that we are, and it's different. Like they have some areas where this night of the week, it's open as an
Okay.
every sort of thing. So it's very, there's some comparisons to be made in the framework, but in terms of this resolution, it starts to become very different with what we're trying to do and what we want to do with the town.
Thank you. All right, now you're up, Eric. Thank you.
Eric Hart. One quick question and one clarification. The risk is a valid question that keeps coming up. What is the risk to the city? What I'd be curious to ask, and I don't know if anybody has the answer, is do our decisions about things like security, how much we're going to enforce these rules, have any impact on our risk? Or is the fact that they are insured take all risk off of us? So can somebody say, this was a huge event, the city should have had a requirement for security out there, they failed to do that, therefore the city's liable for some issue that happened out there? And so we want to make sure that we are not putting the city at risk in any way when we're doing these any more than we would any other event. Clarification question is, Connor, when you mentioned this earlier, you said that I'm trying to think how you exactly said it, the facility that had the alcohol permit needed to be connected directly to the permit area as it was blocked off. So the example you gave was City Park doesn't have anyone serving alcohol next to it. At another time, we talked about maybe Lions Club or some nonprofit coming in and setting up a booth there with an ABC license. Can you clarify exactly what is and isn't okay in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks. So I think the clarification is that right now, in theory, a nonprofit could come in and set up a booth with alcohol in the park with the permission from the city and the chief of police, administratively, with no entertainment zone. That can just happen right now. The only reason, what? Yes. Yeah. In theory, yes. But at the same time, it would need to be approved by the chief of police. And if somebody comes to the chief of police saying, we're having this massive no security rager in the park in half the city, the chief of police will say,
No.
That was well timed.
put him on the spot, Connor.
A hard stop.
And so a lot of this in terms of security, in terms of what's asked for in terms of fences, a lot of this is the judgment call of the chief of police, which is a liability the town and city takes anyways with all these things occurring. So the management plan dictates the stamp that the entertainment zone occupies, and that stamp that the entertainment zone occupies for the direct events would need to include being next to one of the brick and mortar businesses to take advantage. Like as an example, if the stamp is just in the middle of the park, not touching any brick and mortar businesses that serve alcohol, there's no reason to have an entertainment zone in the first place. You just have the daily event for whatever nonprofit you're going out to serve alcohol there. Does that clarify?
It does.
Or say that it was the park and the streets around the park.
All right, any other public comment? I'm going to close it. If you have something to say it now. Public comment is closed. To the council. If you want to weigh in, now's the chance to weigh in.
So actually more of a question for Connor, that you mentioned 2 years. Is this a 2-year thing? Or is it codified that way?
So it's, I believe it states in the resolution.
Oh, okay.
If my mind is correct. That every 2 years, basically this is.
We can
looked
re-examine it,
over,
yeah.
Re-examine, and obviously if stuff starts to go wrong and needs to be changed immediately, then we'll do that. But if it goes not a problem for 2 years, then we'll re-examine it then as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm comfortable with that and the fact that we're going to have everybody looking at it. No different than when we have events, whether during Frontier Days or whatever, we always work with the folks putting it on and, bring it down or lower it, basically say, we can't handle this or we can handle that. And that's where staff weighs in and says, this is going to be an issue and we can't support this activity. And like we've done, whether with the nonprofits or with other city events. So I trust our staff will look at these things, and obviously I'm comfortable and I want to support our businesses like we heard earlier. There's some folks it's all positive.
Anybody else want to weigh in? Bruce?
I think I'll just weigh in with my vote.
Okay. Larry, anything? Well, I want to weigh in. I get it. I've hired a lot of people in my life. I've probably hired over 500 people with backgrounds. And I learned the way you judge someone's future is to look at their past. And if somebody is a miscreant, I wouldn't have hired to be in a deputy, because that's, unless they change their ways. And Willits has had many downtown events. We've had car shows, we've had hometown festivals. The hometown festival was started with Frontier Days. We've had some great examples. Well, a former member, one of your directors told me it was started, hometown festivals.
Different chamber.
Okay. And I can't think of anything that got totally out of hand. It's already against the law for a restaurant or a liquor store to sell booze to someone who's drunk. That's what ABC, they sign on with it, and they can get a violation, and they can be sued. We can be sued for anything, but we just can't. I mean, we have to be negligent. We have to be wrong. It's a judge listens to us and a jury listens to us, but to say that, I gotta say, to say we're not going to do it because of the fear of getting sued is an infringement on freedom. It really is. That's just Tom Alma's opinion here, because if other cities have done something like this and it's turned out to be great for business and it's increased. I had a Fort Bragg businessman say that on First Fridays, they get triple the business.
That's right.
Wouldn't that be great? And we have shuttered businesses here. So I support it, and to the parking situation, I hear you. I've heard you every time you've talked about parking, and I'm concerned about parking around Snyder Park because parking is limited. There's other businesses that, often weigh in with parking around Snyder Park, but we don't have to, on every event, it doesn't have to be the blue zone that you're talking about here. Apologies to the blue zone people in Mendocino County for that. But I think this is just an extension of our freedom. And right now, Lions Club can sell beer and you can walk all around town, but LMX can't. And this is just trying to equal the playing field. So, to the council, is there a motion?
I will make the motion to adopt the resolution as presented by staff.
Okay,
I will second that motion.
a motion and a second. Any comment from the council?
I think the parking thing is interesting. I would very much like to put parking back on Main Street to support downtown businesses. I think that might do more to help downtown businesses than this little deal. We have removed with that bike lane and where the bus stops have been put, right in front of the post office. You can only get in. I would be in favor of, and I've mentioned it before, I'd really like to see that brought up. I'm kind of with Larry on this. I'm just ambivalent about it. I don't think it's going to really help business, but I really am ambivalent. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to vote. I think I'm probably going to vote no, just to make Tom because I'm pretty sure I can read this and make him be the decider. I find that more.
We all have entertainment different ways.
Yes, we do.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to the clerk.
Okay, Councilmember Burton,
No.
Gonzalez,
I'm going to vote yes, because the way Tom put this, it almost sounds un-American if you say no.
There is that part of it.
Stransky,
No.
Alanis,
Yes.
and Alm.
Yes.
God bless America.
To those of you who have stuck around for this whole meeting, thank you very much. It's 8:15. Thank you very much.
Are you adjourning the meeting?
Not yet. We have other things.
Okay, I have one more thing.
Run for all.
Just a clarification to something that was said prior by Mr. Burton. 2 seconds.
Okay, if it's,
No, it's important. So, again, my name is Nikki Caldwell, and Mr. Burton brought up the double forms in there and the mistakes in the agenda. So I reached out really quick to the people that could have helped, and nobody helped who was putting the agenda package together. So I just wanted to clarify that because it really hurts feelings when we think that making mistakes is being pushed in other people's.
okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, is there any communication reports or announcements? Because what I'd like to do, each councilperson, is if you could combine the good and welfare in your announcements, I'd appreciate it. Bruce?
I mean, I was, just to address that, I was asking for clarification why it was in there twice. I did get an explanation of that. I wasn't able to discern it myself, so.
Okay.
I did have somebody come up to me, Davey, and said that there's quite a bit of construction activity behind the dog park. And I did not, is there, and if so, what's going on down there?
What construction?
There was.
Yeah,
Like
no,
all-
there is a substantial amount of work going on down there. That project is the rail trail project. It is the mitigation portion of it. So during the design phase of
I thought
the,
we'd used all that mitigation ground. They found some there to.
there's going to be two, basically we're building two wetland ponds back there is the majority of the work and doing some contouring. So yes, the mitigation behind the skate park is offsetting the wetlands we're taking by building the trail. So that's what's going on right now. And so we were trying to get the contractors to start as soon as possible, and they identified that as something they could start with earlier than the rest of the trail. And so that originally was scheduled for the end of the project, towards the end of this year, but they decided to
And
do
that's
that in
outside
advance.
the footprint of Roots' fence?
Yes, it is outside. It is behind there. It's directly behind our treatment plant, and the skate park is back in that area. But yeah, it's not part of Roots.
Okay.
But with that in mind, and this wasn't reported, something very important happened yesterday.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. So PG&E did connect our solar array down to the skate park. So we have that is tied in, and they're currently doing commissioning. So we'll be done with that project shortly.
15 years, we'll get our money back.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, Jerry, anything?
Had LAFCO on the 4th, and we passed our budget, and we had a annexation with Ukiah, which basically they were only annexing their new corporation yard, which is near the Carousel Industrial Park area there. And We had a workshop on the sphere of influence for the city of Puerto Rico. That's it.
Is that a contiguous to the city of Ukiah? Or is
No,
it
it's not, but
Yeah,
it's allowed because it's public facilities.
So it's like the airport here.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yes, I have a meeting for the waste water, and I'm going to take it here at the city.
Okay, on Zoom. Zoom?
When is it, Larry?
It's about trash.
No, when? When is it?
Tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's not wastewater, it's,
Yeah, it's trash.
no, not wastewater.
Solid waste.
Solid.
Oh, solid, oh, it's EMSA, because
that's right.
I'm on the wastewater thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. I had an opportunity to join the skunk train on May the 2nd. They had an influencer day where they invited several influencers. I can't tell what an influencer is, but many people came and they were able to put our town on the map and did a little reels and did their little Instagram messages, and apparently went out to thousands of people, and they really highlighted our town. They did a wonderful job, and this was a great event. And it really, I think, went well for not just the skunk train, but also Willits itself. I had an MCOG meeting on the 4th, and right now we're finishing our OWP, our operational working plan. So things are going well there. But more importantly, I did have a chance to speak to the executive director, Ms. Barrett, of MCOG, and I met with her for about 2 hours, and I was, she schooled me basically on some of the basic stuff that we need to do from a city perspective about how to get more involved, including getting more of our money back. Apparently there's a lot of money that MCOG is sitting on, almost $90 million, waiting for the city to apply for it. And what she shared with me is that we have not actually applied for any refunds going back years, 5 or 6 years. And I was very surprised by that. So when you mentioned earlier about the Franklin repairs being fully funded, I'm really glad to hear that, because it sounds like we're back on track there. We kind of fell off the track for a while. Could you speak a little bit about that, maybe, Dave?
Yeah, we have approximately 5 years of MCOG funding available. I think $9 million might be, the term is probably for the whole county.
Yeah.
Our portion is not that much. I think we have about 790,000 in there approximately. I don't know the exact number, I apologize, but it's around there. And so, yes, there's 2 projects identified for some of that funding right now, which is there's a Garmin culvert, which is in North Main Street. I think that one is around $90,000 project to fix a culvert problem we have down there. And then the other one was this Franklin Street project. In the future, we'll be identifying that funding, hopefully to include into larger projects rather than doing these small one-offs with that money. Basically doing projects that get a little more bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We just have so many resources out there. We had such turnover. Sometimes we lose track of that. So they were happy to share with me, like, oh, you got all this stuff going on right now. So I'm getting involved with that, and so I'll be talking to you 2 gentlemen as more and more goes on. Coming up in the future, this weekend, Brook Trails is having their Brook Trails Fire is having their golf tournament. So for those of you who are golfers, that might be interesting to you. And then, of course, this weekend is the last weekend for Boy Dogs and a Bone, which I will be joining the Rotary there on Sunday. Next Wednesday, on the 20th, May 20th, will be our scheduled Finance Committee meeting. And as far as, unless we're told otherwise, we're going to have that meeting on the 20th. So we'll be there May 20th. And then my final announcement is that today's my mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Mom.
Very good. So our next meeting, regular meeting, is going to be on May 27th here. And Councilman Burton doesn't know this, but he and I are now on the ad hoc of parking, and serious, because we need to do, you and I need to talk about parking downtown.
I'd love to.
Okay, and meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
We're closed session.
Oh, we're going to reconvene in closed session, and then we will report out. Thank you. Regular meeting's closed. Good evening. It's May 13th, and the Willits City Council just held a closed session, and direction was given to the staff. This meeting is closed.